Good morning and welcome to today's Tuesday News. Please take a moment to sign in for the technical assistance video you are about to view at tinyurl.com/Tuesday sign in.
And then when you're finished recording, you'll go back to those three ellipses and select stop recording.
Thank you so much.
And then it will prompt you to save it somewhere so you can save it on your desktop.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Good morning again, everyone. Thank you so much for your time. Just to reintroduce myself, I'm Cristin Kennedy, and I'm the Director of Instructional Technology. And also Maggie Phillips is one of the TTISs who supports the West Cobb Elementary School. She will also be helping with this webinar. Before we start though, looking at the screen, if you look at your screen in the bottom left-hand corner where you see my green circle moving around, you'll see it looks like a text box. When I put my mouse on it, it has the word I am. If you click on that, on the left-hand side, you'll see a conversation bar. So here you can type in questions. So right now I'm type your questions here, and then I press the enter button and you'll see that my question is now posted. So during the presentation when Maggie's talking, if you want to post your questions right there, and I can answer the questions as Maggie is going along. So again, on your screen, just click on the speech bubble in the bottom left-hand corner. You'll see your conversation if you want to practice entering something right here now so you can see how it works. You'll just type your question and then press the enter button. And so I see now that 2 or more people are typing. So good morning, Kimberly and Consuelo. Good morning. Thank you for practicing that so you feel comfortable with that resource. So I am going to minimize the screen and I am going to take you to the Cobb County webpage to let you know what resources that we are going to share with you today. Also, Natalie has this in an email form and she can send this email to you as well. So looking at this screen, under the tab for parents, because we're here to support parents, you want to move your mouse to the parent screen and then move your mouse to where it says Office 365 support. And also you'll see there's the login screen as well. So I'm going to click on the Office 365 support here. And notice that this web page is made for parents and for students. So during the presentation today, when Maggie's sharing something with you, we'll refer to this website. And again, this is in the email that Natalie's sending to you. Just to know that on the top of this page here, there are step-by-step directions on how parents can give consent to Office 365. And also there's a video that parents and you can watch and even encourage your teachers to watch just to give some more background information. And notice that the step-by-step and the video has the video translated into Spanish if you would like to share the resource with parents. Below the website area, you'll see right in here, contact your local school for assisting update email addresses to receive the parent consent. So we're going to talk to you about what that means. And I see that someone has said some of my parents have expressed they've never received that initial email. So we'll talk about that too. So thank you for bringing that up. The document that Maggie is going to be sharing with you today is this first link under Getting Started where it says Parental Consent Checklist. She's also going to share with you a parent flyer that you can print out and have in your resource room and have your front office maybe have a couple of these flyers to talk about what is Office 365. So I'm going to click on that first link where it says Parent Consent. And a PDF document will appear. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. It's on 200%. So we're going to go through these steps today and talk about what needs to happen. So again, one more time, Office 365 is a resource that all Cobb County employees have, as well as students. The only way that students can gain access to this resource is if parents give consent. The only way that they can give consent is via email. So in some schools, parents that don't have email and they're not sure how to create email, that's one step that you may be able to help in your parent resource room. And Maggie will go through those directions with you. Again, one more thing I want to pull up is this flyer. And again, Maggie will pull this up a little bit later, but it talks about what is Office 365. And again, Office 365 is a resource that is free to students and to employees, where students can create Word documents, Excel documents, PowerPoint documents, OneNote documents online. They don't have to download anything. They can use it on devices. And so it's really great, especially for students that don't have a device at home, because they can create something in the computer lab, save it, and then go to another computer, maybe at the Cobb Library or even in your parent resource room. They can open it up and continue working on it. So it doesn't matter what device they're working on, they can gain access. So I'm going to close my screen, stop presenting, and I'm going to hand my baton over to Maggie Phillips, who will continue going over the checklist with you. And again, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you.
All right, good morning. My name is Maggie Phillips, and I'm a Technology Training and Integration Specialist. And this morning, I'm going to go over with you all the steps for the parental consent process for Office 365. So in order for students to take advantage of this resource, parents have to provide consent. And so we're going to go through this document, which is a checklist. Again, you can find this document in an email that I believe Natalie is sending to you, but we also have it posted on our website, as Cristin just pointed out. So the first step in the process of getting students to be able to utilize this wonderful resource is determining if the parent has an email address. If the parent has an email address, it's awesome. You can move on to step 2. If the parent does not have an email address and needs one set up, we provide step-by-step directions on how to provide a free Gmail account to parents. And if you click directly on this link within this document, it will open up a set of step-by-step directions for using Gmail to create an account. And this is the document. And again, it starts out with how to access Gmail website, and it provides step-by-step directions and screenshots for you as you support parents in setting up a Gmail account. We also included a box here on this document where parents can actually write down their username and password, so that when they need to provide that information in a later step, they have instant access to the account information that they used to create their Gmail account. So this document, again, can be found by clicking directly on this directions link on step 1. So if the parent doesn't have an email address, the first step in the process is helping them get one. Okay, and then once an email address has been created, or if the parent already has an email address, the second step is to provide this email address to the school clerk or to the CSIS designee within the school. So that person will put the email address into CSIS as the enrolling head of household email account. And so that can be done again by the clerk or the person in the building that's in charge of CSIS. Once that email is put into the system, parents will receive a consent email, and the consent email will be sent from the email address office365 parental consent at cobbk12.org. So they'll receive an email from that address with the information needed to complete the process. I did see a question mentioned earlier. If the parent says that they have not received the email, a good place to check is the spam folder, because sometimes that email does get stuck in spam folder. But also that email address can be provided to the clerk again, and the email can be resent. So again, once the parent gets the email address into CSIS, the parental consent email with the directions is provided to the parents. Just to kind of give you an idea of what that looks like, this is what the email looks like. Again, you see who it comes from at the top, the Office 365 parental consent account. And the email begins with some basic information about Office 365 and what's accessible to students. It also comes with the terms and conditions that are applied to this resource, as well as parental consent addendum and Microsoft information. So these provide some of the specific legal information about Office 365. Great resource for parents with any questions. But at the bottom of the email, you will see the 3 options, because when parents receive this email, they get 3 options of access levels that they can provide their child with Office 365. And we'll kind of talk about those more in just a minute. But when they do get the email, they just simply click on option 1, option 2, or option 3 to select the option that they wish to choose. So again, this is just what that email, the initial email looks like, and they simply click on the blue text to select an option.
Tamika didn't say anything. Hey, I wish I'd known.
So once they get the email, again, they have 3 choices. Option 1 is, okay, so I think it appears that everyone is muted. Let's see. All right, so I tell you what, we're going to go back because I think there was some trouble with hearing, but I'm going to go back to the options that parents have, if that's okay. So once the parents receive the email, again, they have 3 options and of consent that they can provide. With option 1, again, this is the option that most parents prefer. It is the option that provides the most access to students with Office 365. With option 1, students can access the full suite of online resources with Office 365. So they can get to the Word, the PowerPoint, Excel online, as well as OneDrive, which is a storage space for students. It also comes with the downloads for the software. Parents don't have to do the downloads and students don't have to download the software, but option 1 does provide the software as well as the online access to those resources. Option 1 is the most advanced and provides the highest level of functionality for students. Option 2 allows the downloading of the Office products, but does not allow the online component. So it will not allow students to work online or to use any of the online resources like OneNote Online or OneDrive. So option 2 again provides download resources. And then option 3 is that basically that students are not having any access. So if a parent selects option 3, the process kind of ends here for now, because the student will not have access to Office 365, nor will they be able to download any of the products. So if a parent does select an option and wants to go back and change it, they can do that at any time by accessing that email again. But again, with option 1, that's how our students get full access to the resources that are available. Okay, so once parents go to that email and select one of the options, again, option 1 providing full access, option 2 providing the opportunity to download the software, or option 3, which is declining the terms and conditions and not allowing students to use it. So once they make a selection in that email, they will move on to the next step of the process. If a parent has any further questions about these options or needs more information about how to use the email that they received, we have a link right here which takes parents directly to the site that Cristin was just showing you, which is the Office 365 for Parents and Students tab. Again, on this site we have access to, or you will have access to, the step-by-step directions, as well as to a video, which takes parents through the consent process with an email. The transcript for this video is also available in Spanish. Okay, so once a parent makes their selection, if the parent selected option 1 or option 2, which provides students access to some component of this program, they will receive an additional email, and that email will provide the student's username and their password. The username typically is the student's first name dot last name at students.cobbk12.org. The exception to that is if there's more than one student with the same name in Cobb County, your child will have their username, will have 3 digits added to their name. So to kind of distinguish between different students within Cobb that have the same name. So again, that email will contain the student's username as well as their password. And the password is the account, is the same password students use to access Cobb County computers. So it's what they log in to the Cobb County computers with. Okay, so all of that information is in that additional email that will come when a parent selects option 1 or option 2. Okay, if option 1 or option 2 is selected, then students will wait 24 hours and then they should be allowed to log into Office 365 and to access OneDrive and the Office Online tools if they selected option 1. So it does take around 24 hours for that account to become active, but once parents select one of those 2 options, then their students should be able to log in within 24 hours into Office 365. It is important to note that if you have more than 1 student in a Cobb County school, you have to repeat the process for each student. So each student's account is separate. So if a parent has multiple children in Cobb schools, then they'll need to do this entire process for each student. They'll each have a unique email. Okay. At the bottom of this page, we also provided some additional resources. Again, access to this Office 365 parent flyer. I'm going to click on that link right there. Again, as Kristen pointed out, you can also get this from our website by clicking on Parents and then Office 365 Support. But this Office 365 is a great resource for sharing with parents information about Office 365 is, what it includes, and how you can access Office 365 for your students. It also provides directions if you select an option, maybe option 2 or 3, and you want to change it to another option, how you would go about doing that. So all of that information is in this parent flyer. This is a great resource, maybe for printing out and having on hand to share with parents, because it does provide some really important information about this resource that we have available for our students. Okay. Also on our step-by-step parental consent guide, we have a link to the parental consent addendum. I'm going to click on that link. And this provides information about the terms and service of Office 365. It provides an overview of what option 1, option 2, and option 3 mean, as well as important information about using this resource in Cobb schools. Okay, and our last link and resource here on this page is Office 365 Student Privacy Pledge. So this provides further information about Office 365 security and compliance, and could be an additional resource to share with parents. So just to kind of take you right back through that process, once you've done all that, the students would have access. But we started here with determining whether or not the parents had an accessible email account. If they did, then we would continue with the process. If not, again, we have these directions linked right here to help parents establish a free Gmail account. Okay. After getting this email account created or finding the email address, that information should be provided to the school clerk or to the CSIS designee to be put in as the enrolling head of household email address. And that's where the consent email will be sent. The consent email contains 3 options for parents to select. Again, option 1 provides full access to the tools and resources available online, as well as access to downloading the software. Again, this is the option that most parents prefer. Option 2 will provide access to download the Office suite, but it will not allow students to access OneDrive or any of the online products. And then option 3 is when parents are not consenting to the terms and service and not allowing their students to use Office 365. Okay. And again, we do have some more specific information as well as a video linked here under this step 4 for more parent information. All right, and so once parents receive that email, they'll make a selection. If they select option 3, the process kind of ends there. And if they select option 1 or 2, they'll receive an additional email that provides the student's username as well as their password. And if parents selected option 1 or option 2, within 24 hours of making that selection, students should be allowed to access their account and access the Office 365 resources, as well as download the software should they choose to do that. And again, we would want to repeat this process for each student in Cobb County. So if a parent has multiple students within the county, they'll need to go through this process for each student. So that kind of wraps up the process for accessing Office 365. And just as a quick reminder, this checklist can be found on the Cobb County homepage. If you go to the Cobb County homepage and click on the Parents tab, on the left side, if you scroll down to Office 365 Support, again, we see our video, the steps for consenting. And the very first resource is this parental consent checklist, which is the document I've been sharing. So this is the best place to start for supporting parents with going through this process. And we've got everything that you would need for further directions linked within this document. So that covers the Office 365 parental consent checklist process. And I am going to turn this back over to Cristin or Natalie?
Yes, I'll take over.
All right. Stop presenting.
All right, I'm gonna share my desktop with you one more time and just do one more little reminder. Thank you so much for those of you who shared or asked questions or shared some comments with the group. So on the left-hand side, I wanted to point out that teachers do have access to a report in CSIS to identify parents that have given consent and parents that haven't given consent. So that will help with the focus of who needs additional support with gaining access to Office 365. Just a reminder one more time on this Parents tab, and then under the support page that we've been working from during this presentation, if you look in the list where it says follow the steps below to gain access, number 2, do you see how just below it's beside it there's a parent consent link? Some of you are asking questions of what does that email look like. So if you click on this link, what the presentation that Maggie shared with you is right there. So you can show them what does it look like, what does the subject line look like, and then so it's on 2 pages divided up, and this is what was included in Maggie's presentation. So again, to access that resource is just by clicking on parent consent link that's on that page. And again, also I want to share with you, and please share this with teachers as well, that our department, so on the Cobb County webpage, if I put my mouse on the Departments tab, we are the bottom center listing of instructional technology, and we have lots of resources here. If you place your mouse on top of innovative learning, we have resources on BYOD, Edmodo, iPad, classroom resources. That's where we're going to find students and teachers. We'll come back to that page in just a second. Data-driven instruction, interactive classrooms. If you have a smart board or Promethean board, there's resources for you. Going back to that classroom resources page, under the Teachers tab, you as Cobb County employees as well as teachers have access to tutorials to learn more about Office 365. So I wanted to emphasize on this Office 365 teacher page that if you move your mouse kind of down the page, underneath where it says Getting Started, in bold it says Office 365 Suite Tutorials. So if I click on that link, there are further videos and instructional tutorials on how to use different tools in the Office suite, such as OneNote, Office 365, OneDrive, which is your 1 terabyte of online storage. So no need for flash drives anymore, as well as Office 2013 if you have a Mac computer, and also some new products with Office 365 is Mix, Sway, and Delve. Today we're using Skype. So under Classroom Resources, there is even a website for Skype for Business. So I'm clicking on the Skype for Business, and it talks about a little bit more about Skype, how to set up meetings and so forth. So you can use Skype from classroom to classroom. You can have one teacher teaching another classroom or having an exchange between the class that's very engaging for the students. So again, I just wanted to talk to you about that these 2 resources, the support page and the instructional technology page, are there for you to access. and gain information. So I'm going to minimize the screen, double check to see if there's any other questions. The report for parental consent can be found in CSIS, yes. A report, so I think Maggie's been answering questions for us. Are there any questions from the group?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
Okay. Um, if a family were to leave the county,
Uh-huh.
will they still have access to 365? And mainly what I'm talking about is the OneDrive. Let's say they option to do the OneDrive,
Uh-huh.
and then they leave the county, and that student has work on
Right.
OneDrive. Will
Right.
they have access through to that, let's say, within the state?
Okay, great question. So all students and employees, they have 180 days after they withdraw or graduate or leave the system. So they would have 180 days to be able to move those resources from their school OneDrive, and they can actually go and create just a personal OneDrive account. You can do that for free, and you get 15 gigs of space. Currently, teachers and students have 1 terabyte of space, which is equal to about 1,000 gigs. So it's a lot of space.
Okay.
But that's an excellent question. If they do leave, I know that some, I used to teach at East Cobb Middle School, and I would have students at East Cobb Middle School, and then they lived on Powers Ferry, and then they would move to a different apartment complex. So they would go to Marietta Middle School for a little bit, and then they would come back to East Cobb, and they would come back, so forth. So they have 180 days to do that. So if they leave, they're able to use that resource. If they come back to the county, they'll still have that resource.
Okay. Is there any notification sent out when they're withdrawing, or
When the clerk withdraws the student, that's when the timer, I guess, will start clicking on the Office 365. Is when the clerk enters the withdrawn.
okay?
Good question.
Okay, but there's no actual notification. It will be incumbent upon us to kind of say, hey, by the way, if you have anything on OneDrive, you need to go ahead and start moving that data.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, good question. Someone was asking about the CSIS report. CSIS teachers, they have access from the academic portal to get to CSIS. It's a student information system tool that Cobb County teachers and leaders use. And so the directions were posted for teachers and for leaders. They can access the parental consent to see who has given consent. So thank you for sharing that. Any other questions?
Yes, I have one. Can you repeat what you said about the no need for the flash drives? Here at Floyd, the kids use a lot of flash drives, and I came in on the end of that statement.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to open up let's see if I can get so here is the website, and I'm just going to go to my Office 365. To go there, the fastest way really actually is to go to Employees, Office 365 login, or for students, it's the same link, but Office 365 sign in. And so if students have access to Office 365, like you and the students have, then instead of saving their files to a flash drive, they can save it to something called their OneDrive. So waiting for my Office 365 to load in here. And so I'll sign in, waiting for it to load here. We have lots of SLOs and of course tests and Skypes going on. So, and we got hit with our internet too. So let's see here. We can get it load. There we go. So here's my Office 365. If they click on OneDrive, they can either upload files, or they can create new files. So new Word document, new Excel document, new PowerPoint document. When they create from their OneDrive, it's automatically saved. So here I am on my work computer, but I could go to a Cobb County Media Center computer, or a computer lab computer, or I could go to a Cobb County library computer, log into my Office 365 account, go to my OneDrive, and then be able to open the files that are in my OneDrive.
Okay, thank you.
So it's great. No more flash drives getting lost.
Right.
Any other questions?
Okay, well, um, this is Nat, and I really want to say thank you to Kristen and Maggie. This was great. I am very, very grateful that I got to hear it twice because I was at the elementary earlier, and now I have 3 pages of notes. This will be great as Title I is building their blog. Hopefully, the blog will be up when we come back from our winter break. This will definitely there'll be a link there also. This was amazing. I am very, very excited now that we have those computers all set up in our middle schools and high schools. Everyone is ready to go. As I've been checking into your parent resource logs each day, I mean, we have 10, 15, 25, sometimes 40 parents in and out of our buildings just in the resource rooms alone each month. So this is amazing that when they come in, they're going to be able to, have this type of access and have this type of support from the parent facilitators because we really, are the bloodline for the parents as far as information. And we've been getting lots of questions here about how do we do this, and I had none of the answers.
Mm-hmm.
So this is fantastic.
Natalie, I'm sorry for interrupting, but someone had also brought up the point in the conversation earlier that they've had parents say that they haven't gotten the email.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just want to let you know that if an email has been given to the school, if a parent changes their email address in the middle of the year, the school doesn't know that. So the parent has to let the school know who is the head of household, who should be getting those emails. That email may be going to their spam folder, but that email is sent every 30 days until a parent does give consent. And a parent can go into the front office and request the email to be resent at any time. Okay. All they need to do is just request that from the front office clerk or the CSIS, CSIS designee to send that email.
And I'll make sure I make another note of that.
And you have in the parent resource room, you do have generic parent logins. So the parent can create that Gmail account, on that computer. If they don't have computer access at home, they can create that account. And most parents have some kind of simple phone that now that they have that email address, it's great because if schools send out any kind of call outs or any information and they have that email address online, the parents will be getting more communication from the school using that email as well.
And that is perfect. I think that we're all very excited. You guys agree? Does you feel like this was worth it and want to have the information? I know I've been getting lots of, help desk questions about similar items. So I'm really glad that we were able to connect because this is going to be huge for us. The parents are there all the time. And a lot of times it's just a matter of getting them the right, level of communication. And everyone is leveraging, technology now. Just with T-Mobile themselves, with the new packages that they've rolled out and Walmart's new packages that they've rolled out, people are getting a lot more for their bucks now with the technology. So I know that our parents, have different levels of devices. Well, they'll be able to utilize these. So I'm excited about that.
Yes.
Definitely excited. Does anyone else have any questions? Kristen, Maggie, thank you so very much for this. This was absolutely amazing. Yay!
Thank
Cyber
you.
hand clap.
Thank you.
And please don't forget to reach out if each one of your schools has a TTIS. I failed to share that with you where you would find that on the Cobb County homepage. If you click on the instructional technology webpage where it says staff. If you're a middle school or a high school, I would just click on that high school and then find my high school and find that name. And you can always email the TTIS. They're more than happy to come out and do training for you, for teachers, help with students using it in the classroom. They're happy to support. And Maggie is one of the TTISs that serve the West Cobb elementary schools.
Very nice.
Dr. Kennedy?
This was being recorded also. So we'll definitely get this back out to you guys. Hopefully if I can, I'll put it onto our YouTube channel and have it back out to you this afternoon because I know that we're going to be going back and watching it and discussing it more. I'm sorry, Kim.
Yeah, Dr. Kennedy.
I'm Mrs. Kennedy. Cristin. Call me Cristin.
To existence. At any rate, is there any way that, since you're with the technology department, we were discussing in our technology department with the Title I department about how it may be difficult for parents to come to the school to change their info, ever so often.
Right.
Any way that that we could create some sort of platform that parents could change their information electronically?
Excellent question.
School building?
Currently we're working with the Student Information System, the CSIS, CSIS, and also the Synergy Parent Portal. We're trying to work on trying to have different forms available on that parent portal, so then parents could log in on that parent portal and update their resources there. So
Right.
that is an enhancement that we are currently working on. It's not there yet, but they're working on that. So excellent question.
Awesome. Well, thank you for the work that you do.
Oh yeah, thank you guys for everything that you do too.
All right, no one hang up. I'm going to stay on for another 15 minutes or so because we have questions. And again, thank you so much, Cristin and Maggie. We appreciate you. I want to give
come back and share any other resources that you need.
Yes, we actually have a date. I'll be calling you soon. I have a couple other things.
All right. Bye.
Thanks. I'm hoping this does not hang us up, but I'm going to try to stop the recording now. So if you give me just a few moments, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording so that I can download it, and then we can ask some questions.
Thank you for your time. And as always, remember, here at Cobb, we are engaging our community, one family at a time. So go out and engage one another today.